Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode number 3, with which we're going to close the page on the videos for complete newcomers, and we're going to move to the bronze rank. So we're going to explore today droning, basic callouts, T-Hunt, and how to deal with loss, part 1. So without further ado, let's get in right to the episode. Okay, so first of all, we're starting with droning. Droning is an essential part of the attacker's side in Rainbow Six Siege. Don't think of this little fella as just something that you use in the beginning of the prep phase and then it's over and basically forget about it. I see it as 2 free lives that you have, and you don't have to face check anything. If there's somebody in rafters, you don't have to be shot in the face to confirm that statement. So in terms of droning, I see a lot of people just go in the room, they just check it, and they're like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna enter, and that's it. Yeah, but that's not the correct way that you want to go through it. You always want to first open the door, prep the drone, get into the drone. Why? Because that is going to, as a sound cue, let in on anybody on the defense side that you've opened this door, and you're going to have eyes on them once the drone enters the area. If this is a clean area like it is right now, you always want to go quickly and check every single corner without spending too much time to like, hey, okay, there's a mortar here, I want to check that out, right? No, you just want to go in, make sure everything is secure, everything is clean, and from that point on, you can move on to another room. With that room, you can basically do the same every room, and what you want to do is never go more than a room and a half ahead of you, and then you have to follow up. Once you followed up, then go again for that drone and make sure that everything is clean indeed. So with Siege 2.0, you don't really need to ping the enemy in order for you to know that they're there. You don't need the red ping. All that is good is a good Z ping, or a yellow ping like people like to call it, for you to know where a player is and to call it out. This is the most important thing about droning in general, is calling out what you see. If you see a shield, if you see a player, you can always of course try and prep a drone somewhere where it's hardly visible from the enemies, but you always want to make sure that it's not stuck like in this current case. Droning is the difference between receiving an instant headshot from somebody holding a tight angle and you receiving a small information just by hovering in a close proximity to a door, to a window, and just checking the general area. You don't need to risk the drone if you want to keep it for further use, but the best way you can do is just scatter and try and look out for the whole area. Of course, the chances of your drone getting shot this way are a lot bigger than if you're just checking, making sure you can go back and then push. This way you're going to have an easier way to getting into the area or any room what you are failing to go for. Now I'm going to show you 2 very short clips from which I have a pre-placed drone and lent 2 very easy kills on unsuspecting players just because I already had the info of them. We're going to bring them down and I'm going to talk more about them in just a second.
Oh, yellow's dead.
As you can see, a small tiny drone but in a pre-placed position can be very strong. I was able to land an easy kill on Jaeger just because of the information that I was able to get through it. This is why you shouldn't waste the drone. This is why you should keep it always at hand, in your pocket, or somewhere around the vicinity where you want to enter from. And on this recording, I get an early call from a teammate, which unfortunately is not recorded, but this is how I am able to land a beautiful headshot from cache to control room for an unsuspecting kill on an unsuspecting player. So this is where also callouts come in play. And here are the few pointers that I'm going to talk about callouts. Okay, so now I want to talk about the importance of callouts. First, before we start with the topic, I would like us to see how the voice comms of professional players sound like. So I'm going to play this video of G2 in their communications so you can see what comms should look like, or at least half of this would be fantastic in game.
in model.
Where?
Where guys in push long, push long.
I'm holding on. No,
Both dead, I'm pushing you.
Bolt. I think
Mini. Let's go,
Let's
boys.
go, boys.
One side actually. They came, they came tunnel. Third.
On that type of kid, bar.
Can we
Yeah, let's go.
find
I'm going below.
Ace is back. Yeah, I'm back on him. Back B on the shell. Back B holding church rotate. Filming on B bomb. Second box.
Too late.
Hatch is closed.
Yeah, hedge is close. He's in third now. Recheck side. He's in third.
Kill bathroom.
I
don't know
killed
where
the
your
bathroom
search
guy. I
went.
killed one in bathroom, I think.
Thanks, he's dead.
Last guy in third is Ace. Quick go kitchen.
He doesn't have
Dive
diffuser, I
is
think.
clear.
That's why he
No,
went
he
there.
does not diffuser.
Card is playing. If I shoot, you peek. He's preaching church. I need to have a accurate. Yep. Nice.
Nice.
Let's go, boys.
This is the aggression we needed, boys. One still 51, one for each.
With this video, I want to highlight the importance of callouts. If you notice, Pengu gives a very detailed description of where Ace is. Unfortunately, this does not go their way and the Ace gets the kill, but the general idea of a person knowing what to expect and where to look is what you're looking for. And this is what is a big difference and what makes a great player and a fantastic player in Siege. If you can give proper calls, if you can give the proper information, you got this easy. It doesn't matter if you're starting just now or you're already a player for a while, callouts are essential. I'm gonna say this once more. So if you're a new player and you're wondering, okay, Shepard, how do I get better at calling out? That's easy. You really need more time in the game and paying attention to what room you are in. If you can pay attention to what room you're in, then you're going to have it easier for you and for your team when you call out everything. Another easy way to do this is by T-Hunt. T-hunting on every single map that is considered a ranked map would be beneficial because the ranked maps are the most with which you're going to be playing in competitive and also in ranked, so you want the callouts for those maps first and then for every other map if you feel like it. Custom games also are a feature that you could use. It takes a little bit of time to do this, but if you have the devotion, you're going to learn all the callouts in no time. As for specific callouts, like for example Pixel, Pixel is very viable in a couple of maps. For example, like Cafe in Piano, there's a Pixel, and that is a very specific callout that people learn once they basically die from it, and now they know that it's called Pixel due to somebody else calling it most of the times. For specific callouts for something that is unique like this, you're going to need more game time inside. If you have more game time, you're going to see improvement in this if you are dedicated to learning all of the things about callouts. What not to do when you're calling out is first flood comms. Second, if you're not quite sure where he is and you go like left, or he's right there, this is unfortunately not a genuine callout that is going to help a person out. It's going to just flood his comms where he could miss a sound cue, which could end up giving him the gunfight instead of him losing it. So if you're unsure where exactly the enemy is and you can't call it with a room or name or a specific unique callout, then it's best for you to stay quiet. As essential as giving information is, it is also essential to know when to hold it, because sound sometimes is more important than a callout in a 1vx situation. So if you don't have something specific to say, or you have, say it once instead of saying it multiple times and flooding the communication for the other player. This way he's going to have the optimal time to play and understand everything around him. And with this, we're going to move on to dealing with loss. It's a very hefty and heavy topic to cover, but I'm going to start with the first part, which is going to cover how to deal with frustration, losing games, and actually being in a slump state. How I like to deal with loss is I like to break down the moments that I think were bad, where I lost the game or lost a round, or generally just have a bad day, is to break it down, as he said, into 5 pieces, into what, where, when, how, and why. This way I can kind of understand it a little bit better. When you break it down, you're going to have more of pieces here, there, everywhere, and when you connect them, you're going to have the bigger picture, which is exactly why things happened the way they did. Confronting the problem is going to be your best bet of how you're going to get out of sticky situations, of getting out the frustration which Siege can cause, because it's a very frustrating game due to, even in a casual mode, people are tryharding their hearts out like it's Pro League, which is okay. There are certain modes for this, but I do suggest people in casual to stick to casual, you know. But to get out of that frustration zone, you want to face the problem, which problems usually come to different things. Some people like to blame it on teammates, on themselves, bad connections, sweaty people, a lot of things, a lot of factors. What I like to do is I like to view every single game as it's my first game of the day, as I'm literally just done with warming up and it's the first game that I'm ever gonna play. I'm hyped still. I am excited for this game. I want to keep pushing it on. Why do I do that? Once I'm done with breaking down what happened in the last game and why things didn't go so well, I like to implement the difficulties that I had in the next game, and if I can, fix them for the better. If I'm able to fix them for the better, I'm not going to keep having the same issue. That's the literal definition of insanity. If I'm doing the same thing and expecting different results, same as you, we're going to just keep staying in that loop instead of improving. If you want to keep improving, you want to be able to deal with the issue at hand. And the issue at hand is the game that you're playing right now. Don't transfer your negative emotions, energy to your next game, because it's a slope. It's going to just keep rolling downhill and you're not going to get out of it at all. This is also why slumps are created. At some point you're doing everything right, but it's just not clicking. You're not killing people, you're getting deaths by dumb stuff, and you're just getting frustrated and frustrated and frustrated, and that keeps on building until you're like, man, I don't want to play this game anymore. But in order to avoid having this same feeling, you want to be able to confront the problem and say like, okay, this is where I fucked up, this is how I want to fix it. Recording your games or single clips of your kills and deaths is also a fantastic way to learn about loss, about winning, because this way you can compare moments like, hey, I died because I overpeaked here instead of holding this angle which I should have been holding. This way you know that, hey, next time it might be better not to white swing in, but instead hold the angle. And I use the beautiful kills to hype myself up, get my adrenaline pumping, keep the positive vibe going, because it's very important in Siege to keep your cool and keep your positive up, because if you're going only on negatives, you are going downhill. Focus on every game like it's your first game of the day. Leave everything else aside. Keep trying to be positive. I know it's not easy. It's easy to say. It's not that easy to do. But once you get the hang out of it, that's what is going to give you an extra edge when you're in tough situations, in a 1vx situation where you're just having to clutch constantly. If you're positive, this is going to be a lot easier. Okay, one fantastic thing to do in T-Hunt is to learn how to flick in one of two ways. What I like to do is I like to take out my drone, throw it in the air, flick to the side, then trace it, kill it if I can. If you can, if it drops, doesn't matter, just go pick it up, throw it up again, and do the same thing. Again, just try to flick to the left, to the right, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to follow up on the drone. Another thing you can do is do a full 180 and just trace the drone again. It's fantastic training for whenever you have a moving target. This way you can literally skip the whole process of having to learn this with bots. It's a lot easier this way. You can also have a buddy in, which is going to help you with throwing out the drones, so you can do this together and just reset and reset. So let's try this now. We throw the drone, we do a full 180, we go back and we trace it. Then we do to the other side. Throw the drone, do a 180, come back, trace it. A fantastic way to spice up T-Hunt is to put out some challenges for yourself. For example, what I like to do is, let's say we're going to do one shot with Dokkaebi, because the weapon is only one bullet, single bullet, only headshots. So we're going to open this up, and this way T-Hunt doesn't get boring, because T-Hunt can get boring. There's a lot of stuff in T-Hunt that are very repetitive, and instead of having to repeat this process, we're just going to make things up a little bit easier. Also, what you can do is do multiple of these challenges at once. For example, do like flicks, do basically anything that comes up to your mind. I like to also do every single operator with a high fire rate gun weapon, for example like Buck or Twitch, because those are what you can learn easier to control recoil with. If you can control recoil properly, this means you're not going to have any issues with more of the weapons, because the low recoil weapons are easier to control once you have enough skill, and you can pretty much master any weapon this way. I always like to use Buck as an example for the crazy gun, insane amount of recoil that you can have. So I'm going to try to do headshots only with no damage taken, and we can do this as another challenge. Just spice up a little bit that crazy T-Hunt that we have, and make it a little bit easier and more enjoyable of a process for ourselves, because T-Hunt is definitely a nuisance sometimes, and the more you do it, you need at least a little bit of difference for you to not completely lose your mind. So also we can spice up with some shotgun kills or some pistol kills in the meantime, and keep on going. Okay, we failed this challenge, so we can keep on doing it until we get a full 100% no health done deducted from us, and keep up going. Thank you very much for being with me for this third episode. Make sure to leave all your comments and questions in the description below so I can answer them as soon as possible. I'm very thankful for that. I do want to shout out to fantastic people, Cosmic_R6, for being a fantastic person and also a very, very good analyst. Definitely, if you need an analyst for your games, do check him out, do hit him up. In the description below, I'm going to have the socials for him, and also Powdy_, who is a Siege content creator. I'm also going to have his links in the description. Thank you very much, guys. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Stay safe. Cheers.